Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Mitch Moss along with Paulie Howard. We're live downtown Vegas. Circa Resort and Casino is your spot. What a day in the sports world / sports betting world, and what a week. Doesn't get much better than this time of year. On the program today, Nick Whalen, his best look at player props on tonight's card. Mike DeCourcy has covered college basketball for 30-plus years. He's calling it quits after tonight, retiring. He's going to join us live from Indianapolis for the national title game. Dallin Cuff as well. Tim Murray on the program. We'll spend plenty of time on today's Major League Baseball card, how the Rookie of the Year number of the NBA is completely silly and out of control at this point, and how you should be able to capitalize on that, and a lot on the national title game, Paulie. And currently, looking at the screen, Michigan favored between 6.5 and 7. I see more 6.5s out there than 7s, and the total now creeping up to about 146.5. We'll run down all these numbers. Just like quick takeaway from the two games on Saturday is, how do you bet against Dan Hurley on one note? The other one is, my God, Michigan's an absolute freight train. And for them to do that to Arizona, that is absolutely scary. And now they're going to have to play their first true dud of the entire tournament if UConn has a chance to win this thing.
Yep, that's the conundrum here. You're right. Is Michigan just going to blow everybody out and score 90 points in every game and end the drought for the Big Ten? Or is it you just can't go against Hurley? Well, no, maybe they win by 6 or fewer. Maybe that happens, and Hurley gets the money again with this 18-1 run. But it's considering you had guys injured, and Lindenborg got hurt early, and then the foul trouble, and it's still not a problem, and they run out Arizona. I still think Duke has got to be sick to their stomach. They beat Michigan and had UConn down 19, and they're not here. But I think Max Hoffmeyer had some good tweets about this has got to be an in-play wager, because I don't know who's going to dictate or control tempo.
Correct.
And that could determine the outcome, right? Because if it's going to be up and down, then that favors Michigan, and again, maybe they score 90 and win going away. But it begs the question, can you do this 6 games in a row? UConn did in their run where they were unstoppable when they had the repeat. And maybe that's just Michigan's just too good. Yeah. But if it was anybody but Hurley, I would say Michigan's going to rock and roll again.
Yeah, this Michigan team is now reminding me of the UConn team from 2 years ago, where you're just like, okay, they can't keep doing this. Oh, they did. And it kept getting uglier for their opponents, and they just blew everybody out of the water for 2 consecutive years. And that team was completely loaded to the gills, and they have had really good guys now turn out to be pros as well, like a ton of dudes. And Michigan is kind of reminding me of them. But look, I listened to Will Hill's podcast today. Does a lot of shows here on VSiN. The podcast is called Shoulda Bet More as well. I liked his analogy, and it is comparing Dan Hurley and UConn to Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs, where it might sound simple, where it's like, I can't bet against this guy. And, well, eventually it ran out of time for Mahomes against the Eagles a couple years ago, but for so many games over the course of so many years, that kept being a thing. And sometimes you don't have to be any deeper than that analysis. And that could go the same way tonight for Hurley. He's like, I don't want to bet against this guy because he's too good at covering numbers now since 2023 in the tournament, 18-1 against the spread. And I got more numbers than that. And sometimes, their time will run out, but it's also maybe just that simple. Like the coaching staff is clearly the best in the entire country. Now, Dusty Fox, Dusty May, obviously very good on top of this, and he has proven himself now with 2 Final Fours and a national title appearance in the last 4 years, and he's done a wonderful job here at Michigan. But it's Hurley we're talking about here, and the job that he has done now in the last 4 years is absolutely impeccable.
Well, I'm shocked that they're here, though. I mean, I couldn't get there with them making a deep run because of the Marquette performance right before the tournament.
I don't disagree.
And then saying, I mean, for them, Hurley, he doesn't get blown out, and it happened 3 times in a span of a month. What happened? Over a month. To get buried twice by St. John's in the Marquette loss was bizarre. So that's strange. And I know this. He's going to bring up the point spread because he did it Saturday. And he said to his team and also the media that he was like, wait a second. We played these guys in November and beat them by 13, but we're underdogs? And he was outraged by that. So, he's, certainly Michigan's the bee's knees here, but he's certainly going to talk about, hey, we're not getting any respect. Look at this 7-point dog. Do you think they're going to bet this like a Super Bowl? It's UConn money line or you lay it with Michigan?
Probably.
Yeah.
I think that's the way it seems to me. The money line's been ping-ponging back and forth at every book for the last day or so anyway. Well, you referenced this. Here you go, back to the game on Saturday, and Dan Hurley on if being the underdog actually matters in this game tonight.
Yeah, in this game, not at all, because you just when you get down to winner take all at this point, there's just that. It's something that you probably doesn't even register. It's just like preparation, game plan. Make sure the guy you're getting is healthy and as all the recovery, and just really, you don't have to be the best team. You don't have to have the best season to win this tournament. These are all one game 7, single game elimination. There's been plenty of times in the history of this tournament where the best team hasn't won it. You just got to be better for one night, and obviously. For us, we need to play the game a certain type of way. We obviously can't get into a certain type of game with Michigan. They're, incredibly dominant team, incredibly well coached, talent up and down the roster, physically imposing, all those things. So, the good thing for us, it's not a 7-game series. Just got to play one game on Monday night.
Got to see spot on with all of that. Mm-hmm. So every game or every tournament is like a snowflake, right? It can take on a life of its own. I will ask you, Paulie, how does this whole bracket play out if Florida doesn't lose like they did against Iowa, or if St. John's doesn't give up a 10-point lead against Duke?
Yes.
This whole thing could be completely different. UConn might not be here.
Well, take it by his comments. I got to take the air out of the ball and slow it down.
No question.
And try to keep this in the 60s or 70s. Humans with his article today, I think he's right. You have to go read over 14.5 points. That he's got that every game in the tournament but one. But I think it starts with him, and we'll see if Mara can slow him down. But so that's one thing. But going back to Saturday, he forgot the reporter's question. He was so bothered by the fact that they were underdogs. And the other thing is can the Big Ten finally do it here? 0-8 in title games since 2000. If they can end the drought, and I know you caught some heat on social media, I totally agree with you. But the Fab Five love affair, how about you talk about the team that actually won it? It won the title, in '89, which doesn't get discussed much. But they've had their opportunities.
Of course, he wrote about that, and we're going to talk to him about that coming up in a couple hours.
Yeah, it was well done, yes. Yep. And it's 8 times. 8 times the conference has been here. They haven't been able to get it done since 2000. So we'll see if they can exorcise the demons. And the last time Michigan won the title, Gorbachev was in the news. Think about that.
I think we were in mid-school. Yeah, not even in high school at that point.
Yes.
And I'll give you this too, Paulie. I mean, again, sometimes it comes down to a couple of very simple things. I need to know how UConn's going to come out of the gate shooting the basketball. Are they going to be 1 of 18 like they were against Duke? Or are they going to come out shooting the ball like they did against Illinois, where they were much hotter in that game? And so, if it's in between, well, then flip a coin. But if they come out dead cold and can't hit anything, Michigan's going to probably blow their doors off. But if they're warm from outside, and, Michigan is so good, again, defending at the rim that it's going to be probably Reed and not much else down low, I think that UConn's going to take a ton of three-point attempts tonight. And you could probably bet on a couple of those guys, because everybody is 2.5 over plus money.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to be Karaban and Mullins and probably other players on this team shooting 7, 8, 9, 10 threes. I mean, hell, that happened against Illinois, where Mullins and Karaban took a lot of threes. If that happens again tonight, I'll bet on them to go for 2.5.
Karaban and Mullins to hit 6. 6 threes is each is 20-1. At Caesars. What's Ball going to give me? I mean, he's walking around with a boot, but then he says he's going to play.
Yeah, so officially when the injury report came out yesterday, Yaxel and Ball, neither guy were listed. So they're both going to play. I would assume that means they're going to be okay, but not 100%.
Well, come on. Guy's walking in a boot.
Yeah.
It's this guy.
Well, how about Yaxel?
It's got to be, yeah.
He played 11 minutes or 14 minutes. I think he scored 11 points. I get my numbers mixed up there.
Well, he came right out, though, and said there's no way I'm missing the game.
For sure. But
he actually came back in, though. That's what's encouraging.
That's another thing, too, where can we really look at now, does anything else matter at this point, like trying to compare similar opponents or anything like that? Arizona just down against Purdue to go to the Final Four, beat them by 15. Purdue beat Michigan in the Big Ten title game. And look at what Michigan just did to Arizona. I don't think these similar opponents mean anything at this point.
No. I'm more focused on what they did in the non-conference and how they blasted everybody. how good Michigan was.
Actually, it's a good
takeaway.
point, right? Because it's been a tale of a couple of seasons here because they were not great inside the conference.
Yep.
The preseason and now the tournament, they were absolutely sensational. You could say the same thing about UConn, though.
It's not sustainable. You're not going to beat everyone by 30 points. Plus they see you and know you. So you're not going to beat Gonzaga and Auburn and blow everybody out once conference play started. And they had their issues and then but fixed it. And now here they are blowing everybody out. So it'd be incredible if they win again, cover, and score 90 again. I mean, who's going to do that again? Win all 6 games and score 90-plus points?
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of new stuff. I mean, who's ever going to go 2 years in a row covering every game like UConn did? And now for Michigan to pull this off is like, I mean, if Michigan wins tonight in a blow-away, we got to think about this team being one of the best in recent years.
They have largest lead, 15.5 here. I got to go under. Even though, but the spurtability here with Michigan. Caesars has first basket over under 34.5 seconds.
34.5. It was 21.5 for the tournament at BetMGM.
Yeah.
Follow the Money is brought to you by ProfitX. Sign up today, make your first purchase, and earn a bonus up to $100 in bonus cash. Download the ProfitX app and use the code VSINMM. Did you take some 7.5?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because of Hurley. Had to do it. The Hurley factor.
They didn't
even play well against Illinois. But they fell asleep. I mean, they're up 14, and then Illinois cuts it to 3.
I will point out, how many balls did Illinois have that were like halfway down in that game? Bouncing around, going down, spinning out. The last 4 years, with less than 2 days rest in the tournament, 9-0 ATS, 8-1 straight up, covering by almost 11 points per game. That's Dan Hurley.
So you're listening to this podcast because you want an edge. But what if I told you you're only halfway there? You've got the mindset. Now it's time to get the toolkit to match. Here's the thing. Pro bettors spend thousands on data and tools, but what they don't want you to know is you can get the same edge for a fraction of the cost with VSiN Pro. With VSiN Pro, you get access to expert picks, public betting data, prop projections, powerful tools, analytics, and more. Tap the link in the description and see why thousands of bettors are already using VSiN Pro to cash more bets.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
It's a very busy Monday today in Major League Baseball as well. We have a rematch of the World Series as the Dodgers are in Toronto. This is Robleski against Scherzer.
Yeah.
Starters are 5-2-2 over their K-prop against the Blue Jays this year. Righties are 4-1-2. That includes 5 straight overs. And he has the second biggest edge to hit his K-prop at VSiN.com using the Opta AI projections tonight, Paulie.
I see runs in this one. And the Dodgers have been great offensively. What a disappointment, the Blue Jays, and what happened in Chicago.
Swept.
They were supposed to, lost 4 in a row. They were supposed to do some damage here against this easy schedule, and it hasn't happened. 31 runs the last 3 games for L.A., number 1 in average and slugging. And I think they can get to max here and at least to go over 9. I don't mind that as well. Ohtani's reached base 40 in a row. And, Freeman and the top of the order is if they finally got out of this funk as well. So I could see runs in this one. I think they can touch up max. And I don't really trust the Dodgers here in Robleski getting a start either.
You could go.
He's been bad in a couple starts.
There are so many ways to attack it when you want to do totals. You could do a team total over first 5 for the Dodgers. You can go first 3 game over between these two, Paul, if you think there's going to be runs early and often. First 5 over as well. And I don't disagree because that Blue Jays lineup can still be really effective. It did not go well against the White Sox, obviously, but, I mean, they still have guys that can hit. And to get that many runs on the board early could absolutely be a thing here.
Tucker, 5 of 10 last 3 games. Ohtani, career against Scherzer. 5 for 10 with a bomb. Big damage against him. Look at Ohtani props.
Yeah, we have a really good pitching matchup tonight between Seattle and Texas. It's Gilbert against DeGrom.
2 other disappointing teams.
So far, absolutely. And Gilbert, by the way, has been far from great. 2 starts on the year. Both of those, he went 5 1/3. He gave up 3 earned in his first start, 5 in the next one. He's had 7 and 6 Ks respectively. However, he does have very good numbers overall against the Rangers in his career. DeGrom only 1 start, 4 2/3. 6 hits, 3 earned, 7 Ks against Baltimore. Seattle 4 6. I don't even want to say this, but I put it in my notes anyway. They're a half a game up on the A's for last place. They have scored 37 runs, which is 3.7 a game, 8th worst in Major League Baseball to this point.
Well, we touched on Naylor and J-Rod, how bad he's been. He doesn't have an extra base hit yet, but he does own DeGrom, hitting .455 against him.
And here at Circa, that first 5 total is 4. I would do the exact opposite of the Dodgers-Blue Jays game that we just talked about. I look at the under in the first 5, maybe even the first 3 in these two, with these two on the mound.
They did go 10-3 against them last year. They owned them, and they had a great ERA. Texas couldn't do anything against Seattle's pitching, and Texas not hitting as well. So I'm not gonna talk you off that.
All right, Braves are playing at the Angels.
How about this matchup?
A very good pitching matchup
Your
so far.
guy, yes. Sale. I think the Atlanta's too high, even though Sale's been money. But $1.75 on the road as Soriano's off to a great start.
Yep. Sale, by the way, projects for 8.94 Ks at Opta AI on vsin.com. So far on the year, 12 innings, 1 run. He's coming off a season where he had an ERA of 2.58 with 11.8 Ks per 9. Now, what to watch for with Soriano. 0 runs allowed so far in 2 starts. That's over 12 innings. Both starts were on the road. When you go back to last year, this can be a big thing for a full season, maybe even beyond that, the home road splits. Last year on the road, he was brilliant at 2.91 ERA with less than a half a home run per 9. At home, which is where he's at tonight, the ERA went up 3 runs to 5.9 and a home run per 9. So I'm not going to touch him tonight, although that number does look juicy to me.
He's owned them. 8-0 with a 1.24 career. Sale, total ownage against the Angels.
Right.
That is incredible. That's strong, but it's a big price. But, I want to go under 8. How good these pitchers have been. That's fine with me. I think it'd be a low-scoring game.
So this is a game that I'm absolutely involved in as the Astros are playing at the Rockies. Yeah. It's Cody Bolton making his first career start against Ryan Feltner. Hunter Brown to the IL for the Astros. Bolton has a lifetime ERA of 5.6. That's coming out of the bullpen. Feltner missed most of last season due to an injury. His ERA combined between 2024 and 2025 was 4.53, with FIP higher than 4, and he allowed more than a home run per 9. Now get this with the Astros. They're averaging 7 runs per game. They have scored 70 over 10 games played so far. They just scored 25 runs in 3 games against the A's in Sacramento. They hit double digits twice in that series. Christian Walker, career against Feltner, 5-9, 2 doubles and 2 home runs. I like their year fee. I haven't played it yet. I want to see if it's going to come down at all. I played the first 5 over, 5.5 minus 105, and I played the full game over 10.5 at 10. Full game over 10.5 in this spot. The Astros are scoring a ton of runs.
Yep.
Alvarez is absolutely mashing, and I'd like to play him to hit a home run in this game as well, but I haven't done that yet. But I think we're going to get runs here between these two.
All right, and I'll take the side. I think they keep it going.
Stros?
They lead the league in runs, extra base hits, OPS, yes. And I think they'll get to Feltner. $1.60 with the Astros.
Well, by the way, you called this last week, making his first start for San Diego. You're like, oh, boy, Marquez. And I'm like, hold on. Things might be looking up for him. And it was...
Not looking up.
Oh, boy.
He's got the worst ERA the last 2 years of any starting pitcher. Total fade material.
It was 6.7 alone last year.
Yes.
Bubba Chandler, elite prospect going for the Pirates. He's made 8 MLB appearances, so a very small sample size. 3.53 with the ERA. FIP 0.5. Pirates averaging 5 runs per game. Padres 3.56. It's about it's $1.36 here at Circa. I think a little bit shorter. Does this...
Fishy.
It smells fishy to me.
Fishy. Since the Skeens start, their starters have a 2.13 ERA. Padres are 24th in runs. How much credit do we give them for beating the Red Sox? They got the worst record in the league. Pittsburgh 7-1 last 8 Chandler appearances.
I would make the Pirates at least $1.50 in this game.
I think the Pirates win. I don't think Marquez is going to do anything.
Yeah, it just
He's batting practice.
It seems
been that way
off
for
to me.
2 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You get the Royals at the Guardians as well. I'll point out a couple of things here with K-props. It's Waka going against Bybee. Opposing right-handed pitchers are 6-0-1 under their K-prop against the Royals so far this year. Bybee's prop is 4.5. The Guardians use a bunch of guys out of the bullpen. This could be a game in which they try to get Bybee to go a good 5-6 innings to help out the bullpen a little bit. In the same game, as I said, it's Waka. Starting pitchers are on a 5-0 streak to the under against Cleveland with their Ks. Waka, 6.6 Ks per 9 last year. a 3.86 ERA, Bybee 4.24. I think maybe both guys stay under their K props in this game. Would be an angle to consider tonight.
Yeah. Joe Ryan? What do we do with Joe Ryan? Should he be favored against Detroit? He was terrible last time out.
Yeah, he was.
Minnesota's last in average. It's going to be 30 degrees. And I know they've already tinkered with the lineup and moving guys around in Detroit. This is bizarre. They have the number one average in runners in scoring position. They have the worst average with no runners on.
That's funny.
That is so.
Yeah,
Joe Ryan's $1.20. It doesn't seem right.
I don't want to lay a price with the Twins.
Yeah.
Against, especially against a team like the Tigers. I will point out that looking at guys tonight for the Cardinals to go yard, as Zach Littell is on the mound for the Nationals.
Yes.
Right? So.
Second most home runs allowed last year.
Right, and that total was 36 overall that he gave up. That was 1.7 home runs per 9 innings pitched. Now, he did not start the last game. There was an opener to avoid the top of that Phillies lineup, but Schwarber got him anyway the next time around. He went 5 innings, gave up 6 hits, including 2 home runs. Like I said, Schwarber, Garcia went deep. St. Louis did play Sunday Night Baseball last night in Detroit. Now they're on the road again tonight. Gorman and Walker have 2 home runs each for the Cardinals this year. I don't know who you'd want with the Cardinals, but you can probably get some pretty good prices out there just because they're not very good. Walker would be the obvious guy to me that would pop tonight for a home run prop, but I don't get involved with too many of those.
Yep. Red Sox have to prove it to me as well. Bale was terrible last time out. Boston has started 2-8 only 4 times in the last 80 years. But Woodruff and how is going, he's $1.25, and how the Brewers are hitting. Boston is not hitting. Milwaukee also they're going to do this again? Number 1 in run differential already?
I would say, yeah. And by the way, I'm going to shop for price on them to win that division.
Yes.
It's not going, Cubs with that huge injury now to Horton on top of it. The Brewers are going to be players the entire regular season, I believe.
I think you're right.
I mean, signs are pointing up early on here for the Pirates anyway.
Yes.
For the people who are buying in on that team before the season started.
We're brought to you by ProfitX. If you're not on ProfitX yet, Masters Week, perfect time to start, and it's here. The Masters of Your Domain contest. New users get a side-on bonus up to $100 in bonus cash just for getting started, and the code is VSINMM. And during the Masters, make one play of $50 or more in any market. Any market, win or lose. You're entered to win a $1,000 golf prize. You get a round, a club, or a gift card to any golf apparel brand. Win or lose on your play, you're still in the running. Download the ProfitX app. Use code VSINMM. Make your first purchase. Earn that bonus and get in on the action at Augusta. Download ProfitX today. Code VSINMM. No more bitching. No more complaining either, because we got the early starts on Amazon. We got it finally.
Everything's going to be covered?
Everything's covered.
There
We're
we
all
go.
good now. Early coverage.
That's great. We're going to continue with that, being Masters Week. I'll give you the rundown of bets that I've made over the course of the first few months of the golf schedule. Numbers that are available right now. Coming up on Follow the Money, it's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
I don't want to compare it to like Labor Day when you have college football starting, the NFL on deck. You have playoffs coming up in Major League Baseball, the start of the NBA and the NHL season. However, this week is second to that time of year. You concur? The Final Four title game, Masters Week.
Not bad.
Baseball just started. Playoffs right around the corner in the NHL and the NBA.
Here come the Cubs, Mitch. I told you we got to get in. Tampa Bay's bullpen's 8 and change. Terrible. Back-to-back doubles to start. Here come the Cubs.
Yeah, they're down 4-2 right now. What's the price on them to come back and win the game?
Plus 150.
Yeah, nobody out?
Yeah.
By the time this segment is over with, they'll probably be up like 6-4.
Yeah, it's a fun time of year. And the NBA at least got it right Sunday, where they're not going against the Masters. You're putting the games remember they were going in the morning and the afternoon?
Yeah.
We had that big Clipper Warrior game last. It's like going against the final. Come on.
Now, do you recall this ever happening before? NBA games the night of the national title game? Has that been a thing recently because of the NBA Cup?
I want to say they stopped it for 5-6 years.
Oh, no, we never had games on Monday night. It was always the standalone for the college game.
Well, when UConn won it, I remember the Lakers were playing that night because Travis Knight, who was played at UConn, was clapping, and they showed it on the Jumbotron. So I don't know when they threw him a bone and did him a solid. But
Okay.
you're right how things have to change now with the schedule and the cup and how they're playing 5-6 games tonight.
All right. So JVT and I are going to record the latest Pot of the Futures tomorrow. The one that we did, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks ago, we talked about getting ahead on some of these numbers. For the Masters, I did bet a couple of guys on the Live Tour because they were absolutely dominating in recent events. Oh, Rays almost misplayed that one, and here comes a run for the Cubs right now. DeChambeau is in pocket for me at 15-1. I bet him on March 21st. He's now, I think the best price I saw was like 12-1. He won a playoff in Singapore at 14 under. They just battled to the death in a playoff, and he beat Rahm in South Africa at 26 under. I also have Rahm at 18-1 from February 18th. He's now, I think, second on the board, which is plus 910. Wow, I don't think he's going to go that low. But regardless, he was right there with DeChambeau in that playoff. He won in Hong Kong at 23 under. The event before that, he was 20 under, finished 3 back. The event before that, he was second, and he finished 23 under. So I got both those guys, and I was reading Dave Tyndall's 10-year trends report that he puts out every single year. I think he's based over in Europe for the Masters. And out of the 10 sets of criteria that go into his trends report, Jon Rahm popped as the guy who's going to win the event this year. Plus
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
Well, Scotty's got the baby bump.
Mm-hmm.
That could be good.
Had to take off this week.
I wonder if ratings go down because no Tiger, no Phil. Probably not. But, that hurts.
I also have this one doesn't look so hot.
I wonder if Indy Jeff will be involved with the top lefty. That's an interesting market
now with okay.
Yeah, right.
I have Morikawa 30. You can get a much better number on that. I'm reading right now that he's like day to day. He said his body's not in a great spot. I bet that March 6th, not looking so hot there. Got her up at 60.
Sure.
On February 6th when he was winning events. That's in the same neighborhood now. I got Siwoo Kim at 75, and I got Bridgman at 150-1 on February 21st. Those are the bets that I have as of right now, outrights in the Masters market. What are you looking at?
I bet a player not to have a bogey. No. I saw that was all over X.
Okay.
The dumbest bet you could make because it's never happened.
A bogey-free round?
Yeah, it's like 20 for the tournament.
Or for the whole tournament. Yeah, for the whole event.
It's like 24-1 only. They do offer it round 1 though at DK. Scheffler's 7-1, Rahm's 9-1, Schauffele and Fleetwood are 10.
Mm-hmm. Look at how some of these numbers move. Cameron Young, because he won that event earlier this year, he went from 50-1 or higher. He's in the 20 to 24-1 range right now. Is anybody betting him at this number? But I guess that's what happens when you win an event. Now, Obear was like leading for much, this weekend anyway.
Yeah.
And then had a bad day again yesterday, and that's Sunday Obear, I guess, right? Because he's 17-1, and that's happened the last 2 years at the Masters. Well, last year anyway, when he fell on his face.
Well, I'm excited for Jeff on Wednesday and all the different ways that he bets things and finds props and what Wes has to say tomorrow. So looking forward to that and what they have.
Do you have the no hole in one?
Yeah, $1.60. Will there be a hole in one? Yes is $1.60.
And you're going to bet the no?
And have it. I like the yes.
Oh, you like the yes?
Yep.
Wow.
Usually happens on Sunday.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. Well, especially on what hole is it? 12 or 16? I'm thinking about here.
I think it's 16.
16, I think, is where it comes. Yeah. Yeah. There you go. All right. We were broadcasting live at Stadium Swim last year. Remember the great Taryn?
That was fun. Taryn was on.
By?
Yep, absolutely. It was fun talking to Sydney, too. She needs to come on. Hired on the spot. Like the only gal in Stadium Swim history that's happened.
Well, I mean, she could apply for any job in the world, and I think I'd hire her on the spot.
Sure.
Do you put any stock into the the Big East is 8-0 straight up in ATS in the title game since 2001. That means nothing tonight. Can't mean anything.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Exact opposite with the Big Ten.
It really is. They're 0-8 going all the way back. Straight up and ATS.
Well, they blew it. They didn't have to sweat anything if Illinois would have won. But that worries me a little bit. I mean, this team is a freight train and they're so good, but to be 0-8 going back and you haven't been able to do this, I'm rooting for them and I want them to dominate college sports. We already know they dominate football, and they did an excellent job in the tournament and how they performed and making deep runs. And it'd also be nice to get Michigan off the schneid and get one for the first time since '89. And then, you don't have to hear about the Fab Five anymore.
Well,
That bothers you.
This, you don't always have to win a championship to be considered the best team, in my opinion. But if they win this game tonight, they have to go down as the best Michigan team ever. Do you not agree with that?
Yes.
I mean, this team just appears to be completely loaded. By the way, a couple of tweets from Mark B. playing the cross-sport parlays, right?
Oh, there's so many UConn tickets out there. Oh, man.
Well,
and someone will win $1 million at DraftKings if they we'll talk to Edlow about that tomorrow, too. He put $77,000 on them.
Yeah.
At 13-1.
Here's ticket number one from Mark. $200 on a cross-sport parlay that pays more than $25,000. It was Miami to make the playoff, Michigan to win the title, and Oklahoma City to win the NBA championship as well.
Beautiful.
That's ticket number one. He's got another one that pays $10,000, and that was just with Miami to make the playoff and Michigan to win the title tonight. So a lot of people, I have nothing on Michigan as a future. I have UConn at the 16-1, so it makes it very difficult to kind of hedge on a team that's a $3 favorite to win the game.
How low did they go when they started steamrolling teams in the non-conference?
Plus 350 immediately at Westgate.
Okay.
They moved because they were watching the games. And they moved to we don't want any money on this team. They're that good.
Yeah.
So, but here's the deal. If you have Michigan at these big numbers or on these cross-sport parlays, your hedge bet is to take UConn plus the points. You can win it, and maybe a little bit on the money line as well, but you can win all your bets then. Michigan wins the whole thing by 6 points or fewer, and boom, you're going to cash that ticket as well.
This might be the one time, though, where, Humans always says just wait in play, you'll get a better number. But this is one where if, you want to do something in play, maybe to hedge. I mean, this could be 12-1 Michigan right out of the gates, though. How they jump on you.
That's exactly right.
So I keep saying, what if they don't knock down their threes, but they've been lights out the whole tournament, and they've been so good offensively. So back to your point, though, in thoughts, I mean, if they go 6-0 and score 90 points in every game and run every team out, it's an incredible performance.
Well, it's just like Saturday. If you had an Arizona future and you were trying to get involved during the game, you never had a chance.
That was so impressive. Everyone was so excited for that game, and then it's over 10 minutes in.
Best matchup in the history of Ken Palm's numbers going back to 1997.
Yep.
Meaning his two highest power-rated teams in the same year that ever played. Blown out. How many teams could do that to Arizona? If they played 10 times, how many times would that happen?
I know.
It appeared to be a very bad matchup for Arizona.
Right.
That was not a fluke. I think if they played 10 times, that could happen multiple times.
Right. So you're concerned, though, now I got to do it again. Or, can I do that? Not that I'm supposed to win by 30.
Right.
But after I'm off a great performance. I guess you could say some of the guys didn't play well and didn't shoot well, and they still ran them out.
Well, here's what you need. Think about this for a second. If you have UConn, even with the points tonight or to win the whole thing from earlier in the year, you suddenly have to have Michigan's worst game in the tournament by a mile.
Right.
Okay.
And can you score? Was a healthy Duke right there with them? Was that the best team? They beat them.
Had to be.
Duke's got to be sick tonight watching this.
They killed Michigan on the glass. Can UConn do that?
I say no.
Yeah, probably not.
No. You're tired of Cappers lying about their record? Juice Reel just dropped an update that makes that impossible. Connect your books directly into Juice Reel and get in-depth analytics on your own betting, plus access to what the very best bettors on the platform have their money on. The days of Cappers faking their profits are over. Tail proven winners on Juice Reel. Download it now. Juice Reel, R-E-E-L. Get it today, Juice Reel.
More basketball coming up next. This feels like a similar overreaction to the NFL MVP last year.
That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Welcome in. Follow the Money is brought to you by ProfitX. Sign up today, make your first purchase, and earn a bonus up to $100 in bonus cash. Download the ProfitX app and use the code VSiNMM. We start this hour filled with college basketball, going to Indianapolis, as Mike DeCourcy has done An impeccable job covering college basketball for 3+ decades with the Sporting News, and he joins us now on the Progressive Guest Line. Mike, it's been an amazing run. Thanks so much for taking some time before the game tips off tonight. How are you?
Thank you very much. It's very kind of you to say. I appreciate it so much. It's been a beautiful week here in Indy, a place that I called home for 10 years. So many people have been so kind with congratulations and such. And it feels kind of funny because I believe that I will be back in Detroit a year from now, and I'm definitely, whether I'm having to pay for it myself or someone's hooking me up to get there to work, I'm definitely coming to Vegas. I want to see it out there. But I keep thinking that I'm going to show up at next year's Final Four, and all the people who congratulated me are going to be like, I thought we got rid of you.
You said, that farewell tour. Yeah. No, I'm coming back for one more run at this thing. I'll start here. If Michigan, you wrote the story, and I love that you did this, right? Because the Fab Five, they had the Outcast with the Fab Five on Saturday. And like that 89 national title winning team from Michigan is kind of just forgotten about, right? It's like, okay, did that really happen or not? You wrote about why that should be like up there with the Fab Five or even better. Well, if this team wins it tonight, is this the best Michigan team of all time?
Yeah, it's a really interesting conversation to be had, and I would be willing to bet that the players on the '89 team, Glenn Rice and Terry Mills, would love to have the conversation because it would mean their Wolverines won again. But I think Terry would say that they were, and Terry's like the best. He's still around because he's their radio analyst, so I see him all the time, and just the loveliest man. But I'm sure he'd still say it was them. That team had a bunch of pros. This team has fewer. Trey McKinney will definitely be a pro. I think Morrow will find some time in the league. Yet Lindeborg, I predict, will be the most underdrafted player wherever he falls. The most underdrafted player in this class because he's 24, or will be before they start hooping next fall in the NBA. And I think a lot of people will be scared off by that, but he's so young in the game. He barely played in high school. He went to junior college. A year ago, he was a power forward who was just, a big guy with unbelievable dynamism and just protecting the rim and getting rebounds. And now he's a small forward, and he continues to get better and better. And I think he's got as much upside as just about anybody in the draft. I think the team that picks him is going to be really excited. So there's a lot to like about this team, but in terms of accomplishment, pure accomplishment, there's no debate. If they win tonight, there will never have been a more accomplished Michigan team. Because remember that the one that won in '89 was a little bit of an underachiever in the regular season, got a 3 seed, and then they got it together. And they were probably got it to, they had a mixture of youth and veteran players. Plus they had a coaching change in the middle of at the end of the regular season before the tournament. They had a coaching change, so a lot went a little weird with them, and they put it together and won. So a lot of credit goes to them, but this team would be, I think, 37-3 if they win, 19-1 in the Big Ten, 10-0 on the road in the Big Ten, made the Big Ten final. They've done just about everything. They blew out Gonzaga. They blew out Tennessee. They blew out Arizona. Win this one, and there's no debate about the most accomplished Michigan team.
Are they going to do that tonight? And they've not only have they won every game, they've scored 90 points, and they've been awesome from 3. Will it continue, or can Hurley slow the tempo down and make it interesting?
See, I know Hurley will do everything he can to slow it down, everything, including, if they have to, running their possessions longer than they might ordinarily, because he knows he's so smart. He knows that they can't win a track meet. I thought that Arizona would figure that out. I was disappointed that they didn't. I didn't think that they would. I thought they would look at the Duke tape back in mid-February. What game? I don't know if it ended in the 50s, but it was in the 50s pretty much in that sense. And then you look at the Tennessee tape, and Tennessee tried to slow it down, but they didn't have the goods on offense. Their defense never got a chance because their offense couldn't support controlling the tempo. They didn't have enough true guard play, and they weren't efficient enough on offense to slow it down. But I think UConn will believe that it can. And so I do think it'll be slower than what Michigan has been able to do. Look, if they can get to 90 tonight, I will just be flabbergasted. I I'd be surprised if they get to 80, but I won't be surprised if I won't be totally surprised if they got to the mid to high 70s and still won by a bunch. But I have no doubt that this game will be more controlled. What I don't know about, because Lendeborg is such an important part of why they're awesome. And he banged up his knee on Saturday when he stepped on Mo Kribas's foot during a drive, and he tweaked his ankle a little bit too at the same time. And there's no question he's going to play, and there's no question he's going to get everything he has. But what does he have? That affects him at both ends of the floor because that dynamism, that elite dynamism, unmatched in college basketball this year, if he can't get going at the pace he usually does, then he's a really tall, standstill shooter who's very good, but not, it's not like Steph Curry. And then at the defensive end, he's the perfect person to make Braylon Mullins wish he was back at Greenfield High. He is so good. But if he has to run through all those screens they're going to set, I don't think they'll do it. Like, if he's not good, then they'll limit his exposure to Mullins, and that will make it a more comfortable game for Mullins. So, again, he's not impacting the game at either end at the level that he can if he's impaired. And, of course, we know he's going to go, but we don't know how effective he'll be until we get there and they throw the ball up and we watch him go up and down the court a few times.
I can say the same thing about Ball, too. The guy was walking around with a boot.
Yeah, and he's terrific. And his excellence on Saturday was essential to what they did to Illinois. But the game doesn't change on him. He's not the guy that everything rides on. He's a very good player, and they are better when he's playing well. And I'm underestimating his importance a little bit, but they could still have Caravan splash 4 threes, or if Mullins could get going in the way that I talked about, he can go for 4 or 5. Ball just would have to be able to be an effective defender in a matchup against somebody like Namari Burnett. And then, of course, when they bring Trey McKinney in, he's got to work a little harder. But that I think they could get by with that. But I don't see Michigan being as effective if Lendeborg is less than.
Fair enough. Follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, Mike DeCourcy, in Indianapolis for tonight's national title game between Michigan and Connecticut. He's on the Progressive guest line. If UConn wins, Tarris Reed will more than likely be the most outstanding player of the tournament just because he's been absolutely fabulous. Do you see him having another big game? And I'll throw this what if at you, and that is, what if Tarris Reed has a little foul trouble? Then what for UConn?
Oh, they still have Reib, Eric Reib, 7'2" center from Germany. So he gives them a big body presence, and he's going to be terrific a year from now. He's going to be a great player. I think you'll see in him, I don't think he's quite as talented as Klingon, but a similar progression from his freshman year to his sophomore year. And that could start tonight. Grayson Allen's progression started in the title game. So if the scenario you talk about comes about, he could become very important in this game and deliver a really solid performance. He's a really fine talent. But I think that Tarris will be smart enough to stay out of foul trouble. The one thing that he can't do is he can't get caught up in trying to block Mara's shot unless he's coming from off the ball for some reason. He got switched or something. But on ball, he's going to have to live with Mara dropping a few in, because if Mara gets deep, then he's finishing. Now, that's the whole thing. He was asked about it yesterday. I spent a lot of time in the breakout session with him with Tarris in his on Sunday afternoon at the press conference sessions, and he talked about how Mara's 7'3" and he's really long, but I'm 6'11" and I am really wide, and he's planning on using that muscle, hopefully as efficiently and cleanly as possible, to keep Mara from getting his favored position. Mara can be effective 6 or 8, 10 feet away. He can still drop in that little floater. He could do that, but there isn't anybody in basketball that wouldn't rather give him that shot than him dropping the ball into the goal, literally. Because he's so long that he doesn't even have to get good extension. He just has to reach up his arm if he's deep enough, and he can drop it in.
90 seconds. Are you disgusted with the report that they're going to expand to 76 teams?
That's the best word. I mean, there may be some fouler words than that, but that's the best word to describe it. It's such a horrifically bad idea. And people ask me, well, why is that such a problem? Okay, here's why. First of all, the explosion of interest in the tournament is traced to the bracket. And if you don't understand that, then you shouldn't be in a position to make decisions about this. Having that bracket on one sheet of paper is what has made this tournament as popular as it is. That's one. Two, there isn't anybody getting left out that is a significant threat to win this. Or can somebody win a couple of games if they get this break and that guy gets – yeah, that can happen. But it's not like quality teams are being left out of this field. I've done the brackets for Fox for 7 years now.
Yeah.
I know what's on the other side of that line, and it is not worthy of being on the right side of the line.
Well said. Mike, you've been terrific covering the sport for so many years. Enjoy retirement from this part of it anyway. Maybe we'll catch up during the World Cup, which you're still going to cover. Enjoy the game tonight as well. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate Mike DeCourcy, the Sporting News. Up next, in-pocket plays and some more numbers to look at for tonight's national title tilt in Indianapolis.